Welcome to Session 3 of Embedded Writing, Writer's Workshop, a practice for all ages. During this session, you will take a close look at what the experts are telling us about the essential role of Writer's Workshop in our classrooms. My purpose for choosing the texts in this session is to meet you, the instructor, where you are as a writing workshop facilitator. Whether you're a seasoned veteran or new to the profession, I hope that this session will energize and inspire you to make Writer's Workshop an essential component of your students' learning lifestyles. Well, let's get started. It's time to begin. Here are the terms of your admit slip. Let's use a KWHL chart for this activity. First, you have a choice to create your chart and keep your notes on your computer, or you may wish to create it on paper. Choose the method that will make you feel the most successful. Your topic is Writer's Workshop. Your first task is to jot down what you know about Writer's Workshop. You can pause the video now to give yourself time to reflect and record your responses in the I know column of your note-taking tool. Welcome back. Your next task is to record what you would like to know about incorporating successful workshopping practices in your classroom. Record your questions in the want to know or wondering column of your note-taking tool. Pause the video now to complete your task. Welcome back. Let's talk for just a moment about the remaining two columns on your note-taking tool. The third column should be how I will learn this. This video and your notes page should be used to complete the how will I learn this column on your organizer. You will also use the websites and any other tools I offer you. If you have other resources that support your workshopping efforts, please feel free to add them here. The last column is what I learned. With each task in this session, you will be asked to identify and reflect upon what you learned from reading, and your conversations if those are available to you. The purpose for delving into these readings is threefold: to affirm what you already know about successful workshopping, to answer questions you have had about successful workshopping, and to introduce you to new information that may make your implementation of Writer's Workshop smooth and successful. Task number 1. John Hattie and his visible learning research has most assuredly captured the attention of educators around the world. He is turning the notion of traditional instruction upside down. His declaration that teachers need to see learning through the eyes of the child so children can see themselves as their own teachers implores us to take a close look at how Writer's Workshop will support students as their own teachers. Let's take a look. Here's your task. Click on the Visible Learning link provided on this slide. It will lead you to Hattie's most recent effect size revisions. But first, I'd like for you to review what you recorded in your What I Know list and keep that handy as you look at Hattie's list. Now, peruse Hattie's list, looking to match your items with the factors on his list. You'll probably need to pause the video for at least 10 minutes to give yourself time to think about what you have, maybe paraphrase your information, and then match those with the items on Hattie's list. As you discover connections, please record those in your What I Learned column. Please pause the video now. Welcome back. Were you able to match your responses to Hattie's influences, measuring at least 0.4 or above? Do you see any factors on Hattie's list that you had not connected to Writer's Workshop until now? Add this additional information to the Learned column if you would like. If you're working with a colleague, pause the video again to share your discoveries. I'd also like you to think about what compelling information will support your efforts to implement Writer's Workshop or to successfully maintain workshopping sessions that you are already implementing. So what is Writer's Workshop? I selected the links on this page for at least two reasons. First, I believe the content will support your efforts to build successful writing workshops. Second, they represent multiple formats, and hopefully you will find more than one of them appealing to you as a learner. Each format will affect the speed with which you read the text. It will provide different information for you, the audience, and it may change the application of contents you use towards your own instructional efforts. So here's task 2. For this task, let's call up the WWF tool we used in sessions 1 and 2. Remember, this organizer is divided into 4 quadrants. The first W is for who, or your audience. The second W is for what, or your purpose. And the F represents format. In the lower right-hand column, you'll also use that quadrant for inferences. Create an organizer for each of the texts provided on this page. The Guilford text is a chapter sample from a book, and the TTMS text is an all-inclusive text for Writer's Workshop. So you may want to choose a section of each of those particular texts that interests you to complete your WWF tool for each one. You need not go through the entire text. Please pause the video to complete your WWF quadrants. Welcome back. Now here is task number 3. In the first text, Shaylin Farnsworth shares a schedule for high school students and then elaborates on what makes this schedule work. Let's take a look at your KWHL chart. Does Farnsworth provide answers to any of the questions you recorded in your Want to Know column? Have you discovered now that you have questions that have arisen since we started this activity? If so, it's okay to write those questions down as they pop into your head. Take a minute to include in your notes what you learned about an effective writing workshop schedule from Farnsworth's blog. You'll want to pause the video as you take a few minutes to update your chart. Welcome back. In the second text, Lucy Calkins provides valuable insight regarding how and when teachers should respond to student writing. How might Calkins' insight affect the way you plan for your writing workshops? What tools do you currently use when you respond to students? Are you happy with those tools? Pause the video and record your responses in your What I Learned column. Welcome back. Here's task number 4. You've had the opportunity to learn about the components of an effective writer's workshop. You have also been introduced to the logistics of scheduling such a workshop. Now, let's take the time to create a writer's workshop schedule for your students that will fit into your building's weekly or bi-weekly schedule. You may need to change that beyond weekly or bi-weekly if it meets the needs of your building. Choose a schedule format that works for you. And as you draft, consider how each task will support both your students and you. In Hattie's words, how will these tasks help students learn to be their own teachers? Welcome back. Session 3 is nearly a wrap. It's time for your exit slip. Now let's take one more look at your KWHL chart. After you hear the instructions, please pause the video to give yourself time to reflect and record what you have learned. Looking at the What I Have Learned column, sort your responses into 3 columns. In one column, you'll have approved, meaning you grasp this idea and are prepared to implement it. In a second column, denied, meaning you either do not embrace this idea or are not prepared to implement. In your third column, you'll have pondering, meaning you still have questions about the value or the logistics required to implement this idea. Please pause the video now as you sift and sort through the items on your list. Welcome back. This marks the end of Session 3. If you're working with a colleague, I hope you'll share your reflections with each other. If you're working independently, you may want to use your findings to guide a conversation with other colleagues and with your instructional coach. I hope this session helped you with some meaningful and valuable ideas to incorporate and to maintain success in your writer's workshop. Thanks for joining me in Session 3.